Welcome to Voices from the Classroom. Today I want to take you into a simple but powerful idea that sits at the heart of every classroom: the pedagogical triangle. The pedagogical triangle is built on three key elements: the teacher, student, and content. But what makes it very powerful? It is the relationship between these three elements. Take a moment and reflect on the pictorials on my slide. On one of the side, we have the pedagogical triangle, clearly illustrating the three elements of it. On the other side, we have the golf ball. The golf ball is in one of the states of equilibrium. And just to ask, is the ball stable, unstable, or is it neutral? Now, back to the pedagogical triangle. Pedagogical triangle involves three key relationships: the relationship between teacher, content, student, and student teacher. For teaching and learning to take place, these three relationships must be there. And again, taking a keen look on the triangle, it is an equilateral triangle. And that again illustrates that these three relationships must remain balanced. You shift one of the relationships, you shift the whole triangle. You shift the whole process of teaching and learning. And back to the golf ball, which I said it is in a state of equilibrium. You make a slight shift on it and you shift the whole state of equilibrium. So what am I saying? For teaching and learning to take place, as educators, we must ensure that we keep a key focus on the pedagogical triangle. Take a moment and reflect. Why do well-prepared lessons sometimes fail to engage learners? Teaching is not a straight line. It's a dynamic triangle. The pedagogical triangle explains the relationship between teacher, student, and knowledge. Understanding this interaction improves participation and makes learning meaningful. And looking at my slide, you can see at the top, there's a diagram clearly illustrating teaching and learning. It's a balanced interaction between the three elements. Now, let's break this down together. We have the first relationship: teacher-content, instruction and subject mastery. The relationship between teacher and content is about how well you understand what you teach. Can you explain it clearly? Can you simplify it? Can you make it meaningful? This brings the aspect of teaching process. How do you teach? Do you just cover content? Do you take time to reflect with your learners? And then we have the teacher-student relationship. When you talk of the teacher-student relationship, this is where teaching becomes human. How do you engage your learners? Do they feel seen? Do they feel supported? Do you encourage them to participate? Do you give them a safe space to bring their thoughts clearly without being judged? And then we have the student content. This is one of the very most critical elements of the relationship, whereby we make learning active, we make learning meaningful. It is the learning process. And then we have the question, why the pedagogical triangle? Let me give an example. You get into a classroom, you explain everything perfectly well, your notes are clear, your examples are great, everything is on point. Learners are quiet, no questions, no interaction. They are just copy notes. Allow me to ask, is teaching taking place? Is learning taking place? Teaching and learning involves interaction, involves engagement. And that is what makes pedagogical triangle very important. It balances instruction, relationships, and learning. It promotes equitable participation. It supports competence-based education. It's the heart of teaching and learning. To my fellow educators, teaching is not the delivery of knowledge. It is the ethical and relational act of connecting learners with ideas in ways that transform them. And when the three elements come together, the teacher, the learner, and the content, that is when real learning takes place. I'm your host, Mercy Nduli. Until next time, stay kind. Bye.